Today, you will learn everything about one of the most widely used archetypes across humanity, the diva archetype of Marilyn Monroe. Before we begin, I want to remind you that archetypes are universal models or patterns that represent common characteristics, behaviors, and themes found in myths, stories, and cultures throughout history. The concept was popularized by psychologist Carl Jung, who believed that these archetypes inhabit the collective unconscious of humanity. This concept has evolved in recent years, and today we know that we can use the archetypes of famous historical figures, gods, and animals to enhance certain aspects of our lives. For instance, if we want more love in our lives, we can activate the archetype of Aphrodite. Or if we want to be more seductive, we can activate the archetype of Marilyn Monroe, and so on. I'll leave a video in the description that explains more about archetypes, what they are, and how to activate them in your life. With that in mind, throughout this video, you'll learn about the effects of activating the Marilyn Monroe archetype in your life. Let's briefly understand who Marilyn Monroe was so we can learn how to use her archetype. Marilyn Monroe, born Norma Jean Mortensen, was born on June 1, 1926 in Los Angeles, California. The daughter of Gladys Pearl Baker, who worked as a film editor, Marilyn was registered without a known father, which led to speculation about her parentage throughout her life. Her childhood was marked by instability. Her mother was diagnosed with schizophrenia and, unable to care for her, placed Marilyn in a series of foster homes and orphanages. These experiences left deep marks on Marilyn, generating a constant sense of insecurity and a search for home and affection. At 16, in 1942, Marilyn married her first husband, James Dougherty, to avoid being sent back to an orphanage. Dougherty was a policeman and much older than her, but the marriage was more about securing stability than true love. However, when he was sent to serve in World War II, Marilyn began working in a munitions factory. It was there that a photographer discovered her and invited her for a photo shoot, which marked the beginning of her modeling career. Her modeling photos soon gained popularity, catching the attention of Hollywood studios looking for fresh talent. In 1946, Marilyn signed her first contract with 20th Century Fox and changed her name from Norma Jean to Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn was a nickname from her school days, and Monroe was her maternal grandmother's last name. Initially, she had small roles in films and worked hard to improve her acting, studying with renowned teachers like Lee Strasberg of the famous Actors Studio. Marilyn's fame quickly grew, and she became one of the most popular actresses of the 1950s, starring in movies that are still considered classics, like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953, and How to Marry a Millionaire, 1953. With her distinctive style and sensuality, she created a new blonde bombshell image that made her a symbol of femininity of her time. Marilyn knew how to use her image to attract audiences, but behind the cameras, her life was turbulent, marked by insecurities and identity crises. She wanted to be taken seriously as an actress, but was often limited to dumb blonde roles. Marilyn's love life was also intense and complicated. In 1954, she married baseball legend Joe DiMaggio, but the marriage lasted less than a year, partly due to his jealousy over her success and public image. Then, in 1956, she married playwright Arthur Miller, one of the most intellectual men of that time, marking a phase of personal and artistic transformation for Marilyn. She wanted to be seen as a serious actress and studied theater with dedication, but her marriage to Miller also faced difficulties. She suffered miscarriages and experienced episodes of deep depression, which led to substance abuse. Despite the challenges in her personal life, Marilyn continued to enjoy major successes on screen. In 1959, she starred in Some Like It Hot, one of her most memorable performances, for which she won a Golden Globe. However, her mental and physical health began to decline, and she started missing film shoots, damaging her reputation in Hollywood. In 1962, during the filming of Something's Got to Give, Marilyn was fired due to frequent absences, but the studio rehired her shortly before her death. On August 5, 1962, at the age of 36, Marilyn was found dead in her home in Brentwood, Los Angeles. Her death was officially ruled an overdose of barbiturates, but the ambiguous circumstances and possible connections with powerful figures, including the Kennedy brothers, fueled various conspiracy theories. To this day, her death remains shrouded in mystery and sparks debates among fans, journalists, and historians. Marilyn Monroe left a legacy that transcends generations, influencing pop culture and being remembered as an icon of beauty, sensuality, and vulnerability. Her impact goes beyond Hollywood glamour. She symbolizes both the light and dark sides of fame, and her struggle to be understood and respected is a narrative that still inspires discussions about the pressures faced by women in the entertainment industry. Marilyn remains a mythical figure and a reflection of the complexities of fame, captivating audiences even decades after her death. Now that we know Marilyn Monroe's story, let's understand how she became a symbol of sensuality and femininity. Marilyn Monroe became a symbol of sensuality and femininity primarily because of her unique combination of charisma, beauty, vulnerability, and talent for creating an unforgettable public image. In the 1950s, when women's roles and expectations in American society were still quite rigid, Marilyn stood out for her boldness and her defiance of these molds, while simultaneously embodying the aspirations and aesthetics of the time. Marilyn Monroe's sensuality was part of her construction as a movie star, something that began with studio support, but was something she herself developed throughout her career. When she started as a model, Marilyn quickly realized the impact her image had. Her look, platinum blonde hair, red lips, and flawless skin, was carefully cultivated and maintained over the years, establishing an iconic look that set her apart. The idea of the blonde bombshell made her an object of desire, and her image was projected to combine innocence and seduction, attracting the attention of both male and female audiences. But Marilyn was more than just looks. Her soft voice and manner of speaking were strategic. She adjusted her voice's tone to sound sweet, often whispering, which added a touch of mystery and sensuality to her presence. This is visible in films like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and The 7-Year Itch, where she used her voice to highlight the charming and naive personality of her characters. Marilyn understood there was something provocative in not revealing everything, in suggesting mystery, and allowing the audience to complete the fantasy. Moreover, Marilyn projected an accessible and natural femininity, contrasting with the more austere and distant female figures of her time. Her often playful demeanor and ability to laugh at herself made women see her as someone they could look up to, while men saw in her a woman who appeared spontaneous and genuine. Marilyn knew her appeal lay in balancing glamour with an approachable personality. Despite her sensual image, Marilyn also had a vulnerable side, which was revealed in interviews and in her personal life, adding depth to her public image. She spoke openly about her quest for recognition and the audience's acceptance as a serious actress, showing that she wasn't content with being just a sex symbol. This transparency made her more human and fueled the fascination around her, as the public saw in her a woman who also faced insecurities and challenges. Throughout her career, Marilyn became an icon of femininity because, in many ways, her image challenged and expanded existing concepts of femininity. She could transition between sensuality and sweetness while representing the feminine freedom to explore her own sexuality. She also defied conventions by seeking her place in a male-dominated industry and expressing her struggle to be seen beyond the stereotype she herself had helped create. In summary, Marilyn Monroe became a symbol of sensuality and femininity by combining beauty and charisma with a complex and vulnerable personality. Her image was carefully crafted, yet she was authentic in her desire to be understood. This contrast between the icon and the real person is what makes her an enduring symbol of femininity and sensuality, inspiring generations to explore their own versions of beauty and female power. Now that you understand why Marilyn was viewed this way, let's explore her archetypes and how you can use them in your life. One of Marilyn's most powerful tools was seduction, so whoever activates this archetype in their life becomes extremely seductive. Marilyn Monroe was fully aware of her power of attraction and used this skill very strategically to achieve success in Hollywood. She understood that her physical magnetism and captivating presence were tools that set her apart, And that, in an industry dominated by rigid beauty standards and controlled by men, knowing how to use her sensuality gave her an advantage. However, she used this power in a complex way, blending seduction with an innocence that made her unique. So if you want to have this same magnetism in your life, I highly recommend using Marilyn's archetype. Additionally, Marilyn had very careful control over her voice, revealing an elevated femininity. She softened her tone, almost to a whisper, creating a sweet and seductive voice that contributed to the effect of innocence mixed with sensuality. This was evident in her movie scenes, where she used her voice to make her characters seem attractive yet vulnerable. This tone of voice made her lines and songs iconic, as in "Diamonds are a girl's best friend," and "I want to be loved by you," leaving audiences thrilled by her presence. So, if you need to seduce with your voice in this moment of your life, Marilyn's archetype is the most suitable for you. Marilyn also knew how to manipulate the dumb blonde image to attract sympathy. She played with this stereotype, portraying characters who appeared innocent and at the same time sensual, skillfully playing with audience expectations. This skill allowed her to be perceived as charming and fun, rather than just a distant, unattainable femme fatale. By projecting this blend of sweetness and desire, Marilyn made the audience feel at ease, and at the same time, intrigued. In public events and interviews, Marilyn also explored this magnetism. She was known for arriving late, but always in a way that heightened anticipation and left everyone fascinated with her presence when she finally arrived. Even in photo sessions, Marilyn knew exactly how to position herself and what angle to use to maximize her appeal. Photographs like those taken for the famous session with the flowing white dress in The 7-Year Itch were studied and carefully executed to capture all her sensuality in an iconic way. However, this control over her image was not without conflict. Marilyn wanted to be seen beyond the role of the seductive woman, but she understood that by using her power of attraction, she could gain access to roles and opportunities. In short, Marilyn Monroe was a woman who understood the impact of her sensuality and knew how to transform this power of attraction into her own brand. Carefully crafted and perpetuated, she mastered the language of seduction, knowing that it was one of the main ways to survive and succeed in the film industry of her time. This strategic and studied magnetism made her not only a Hollywood star, but also a timeless icon. If you're still not convinced, let's give you more reasons to activate the Marilyn Monroe archetype. Activating this archetype in business. This archetype is recommended for those who want to grow professionally, attract clients, secure advertising and partnerships, and gain visibility, fame, stardom, and success. Clients and followers tend to find you highly magnetic and may become hooked on your content or product. It's highly recommended for those who make themselves their main product. After activating it, you're likely to experience much faster growth than in previous projects. Now, some consequences of this archetype in you. You'll feel more confident and sweet. Your communication skills will increase, and you'll feel more deserving of the prosperity coming your way. Other behaviors I observe in those who activate this archetype include a new ease in embracing simple pleasures. Things you once considered trivial may now grab your attention. It's also common to revamp your wardrobe, change your hair, and take more care of your body. You'll reach a high level of persuasion with ease, a greater sense of lightness in life, intellectual growth, and a stronger connection to feminine energy will emerge. Creativity and inspiration will flow freely. It's also common to feel a strong desire to learn different things at once, to take risks, and not fear mistakes. You'll notice your finances and prosperity growing more each day. Your libido and sexual energy may also increase significantly. What you need to know before activating this archetype. Every archetype has a shadow side, or a darker aspect that you can either sweep under the rug or learn from. This doesn't mean it will manifest fully, just like the positive side, but it's important to be aware of all possibilities. Shadow side of the Marilyn Monroe archetype. Among these are increased consumerism, a stronger interest in trivial, shallow, or superficial things. This can be problematic for people with compulsive tendencies or those who connect only with the deeper aspects of life. As this archetype is highly magnetic, Similar to the siren archetype, your charisma and sensuality will reach new heights, attracting many admirers. However, it can be hard to find one who wants a serious relationship. Marilyn Monroe did not manage to build a family or have a fully happy romantic relationship. Toward the end of her life, she became the lover of a president. So if your goal is to have children, a family, and a relationship where you're not the second option, activate this archetype for a shorter period. To counterbalance the shadow side, you can activate an archetype related to stable relationships, such as the goddess Parvati. If you're interested in archetypes and want to learn more about them, discover the power of deities in your daily life with the ebook Archetypes of the Goddesses. Learn how to practically apply divine energies to transform your life. This practical guide explores how the qualities of the deities can inspire and strengthen your daily actions. Ideal for those seeking spiritual connection and personal growth, Archetypes of the Goddesses is your guide to integrating ancient wisdom into your daily life. And soon, we'll have the Archetypes of the Gods ebook. Get it now to support the channel's growth and awaken your divine potential. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. People who use the power of archetypes in their lives experience significant changes, such as work improvements, financial gain, relationship improvements, and so on. So, how do I activate this archetype in my life? There are a few ways to do this. You can use a wallpaper on your phone and computer, for example, so you constantly see this archetype and imprint it on your conscious and subconscious. You can wear clothes and use objects that remind you of this archetype, helping you connect to it. Or, my recommended method is to listen to activation videos of this archetype, a technique widely used in biokinesis. I'll leave the immediate Marilyn Monroe activation video in the description and card. Listen daily or for as long as you feel necessary. Also, make affirmations such as, I activate the Marilyn Monroe archetype in my life. Do this and see the immediate results in your life. Let us know in the comments about your experience with activating the Marilyn archetype. Also, comment on other archetypes you'd like me to discuss on the channel. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's a great help to us. Check out our special archetype playlists, and see you next time.